Good morning. My name is Anna, and this is going to be the video for if you have sustained an injury. So the point of a splint or a sling is to immobilize an injury so that it doesn't move, so that when you're on your way to the doctor or the emergency room or wherever it is that you may have to go, you're not moving that injury to where it can have more damage brought to your body. I'm going to do the video for the sling. So it says that the person was playing rugby and tripped. And so I have gone up and I've assessed them. So at first I'm looking to see what injury they seem to have. What are they holding? What are they saying? Looking at their body language and asking them questions. And so I think that it is a clavicle injury. So with the clavicle, because it's connected to your shoulder and everything else, any kind of movement, forward, backward, side to side, whatever, is going to cause that clavicle to have even more damage done. So the biggest thing that we're going to do is we're going to put it in a sling so that it's immobilized. It's against the body, and it's going to be at a 70-degree angle. This is going to keep any movement from happening up here so that we're not injuring that person even more. So if you don't have a sling on hand, sometimes you just got to kind of rig something. I've seen people with soccer take off their soccer socks, and then that's something that they can loop around their good shoulder and under the bad arm and all the way up and then tie it around. And so I've seen that done as a makeshift sling. The one that I have seen also used for adults and such is if you take a long sleeve shirt and whichever arm is injured, you're going to have that person, you're just going to slide their arm into the sleeve. So, and then you can have someone pull that up. And so you take the sleeve that you're not using, and it's going to loop up around your good shoulder, and then you can tie this. Sorry, I did that the wrong way. I apologize. I did that backwards. Sorry. You're going to loop it under that arm, over your good shoulder, and tie it. So now you can see like it's in place and held in place with the shirt, and you're going to tie it in the back to immobilize the arm so it doesn't move anywhere. So upon coming up to the injured person, I'm assessing the scene, I'm looking at them, and we've seen that it's the clavicle. So I come up, I'm going to check their pulse, their radial pulse on the opposite arm that is hurting, and see that their pulse is good. I'm going to also check for sensation in their lower extremity. So the injury's up here, but I want to make sure that they can still move their hand, that they can still feel me touching in all the areas underneath that injury. Also, I'm going to have them sit down so they don't pass out. I don't have a person to be able to show what I would do to them personally. So I have my little girl's unicorn stuffed animal, which I'm going to use to show you. So the thing that I'm going to use with this one is a pillowcase. So a pillowcase is very light and able to be tied up very easily. So I'm going to make sure that that arm is immobilized. So I'm going to make sure that they're holding it against their body and that it's going to be at a 70-degree angle. I'm going to then take this pillowcase and I'm going to set her arm in this pillowcase so that it doesn't move. And then I'm going to take the pillowcase up and around the good shoulder and tie it in place. I'm going to tie it in place with a scrunchie because that's all that I have. So after I've gotten the rugby player's arm in the sling to where it cannot move, I'm again going to assess their pulse on their good arm, radial pulse. I'm going to check for, again, sensation in their hands and their arm, and making sure that they can still move the things under that injury, and make sure that nothing extra is wrong potentially as far as we can see. So now that we have our patient in their sling and all, it can't move, we're going to get them to the doctor or the hospital. Another thing that I have seen used for when you're not wanting, say, a small child to move their arm a lot, so that you might get it in the sling, but you're afraid that they're going to start, moving it a little bit. I've also seen people take the first aid tape and to keep that person's arm against their body, because the body is another form of, I guess, your own natural splint, if you want to call it that. You know, so you have your sling holding your arm in the 70-degree angle. Your body is cradling your arm on the other side so it doesn't move. But if you're afraid, like a small child or someone is going to move some more, you can get some athletic tape, and then you can just tape their arm to them so it cannot be moved. But other than that, I think that's all that we need to do. But it's always just making sure that we know where the person is hurting ultimately, and making the best decision on, do they need a splint? Do they need a sling? What is this injury, so that we can do the best we can to prevent even more harm coming to them while we're on the way to a doctor or an emergency room.